So yes, I am Ryan Lord, founder of St. Lord Media. It's a Vox Pops agency, and we predominantly work with D2C e-commerce brands. That's our main audience. However, we've worked with big fintech companies as well. One of our largest clients at the moment is Trading 212. So I'm pretty sure, some of you have heard of Trading 212 before. My background is actually in sales, so corporate sales. I've worked at many different startups before. I've worked at a Fortune 500 global company, been a sales manager, business development manager for many different companies, like over 12 different companies in my life. And alongside that, I was managing a music career as an independent artist, which Tony TNT at the background, he knows me from the music industry. I managed to grow a brand to, over 60K followers, like across my social media, and millions of views on YouTube. I was managing everything. I had no team, no record label, no manager. I would organize all of my own tours, radio runs, distribution, endorsement deals as an independent artist, the whole suite. And that's what actually inspired me to start St. Lord Media. Is somebody else that I knew in the industry. He was doing street interviews for a big company. I'm not going to mention the name, but a big company. And then I thought he was working for them. And then he said, no, he actually got a deal with the company. So I'm like, that's amazing. Like, what does it kind of look like? He was paid near enough 20K for 3 months of street interview content. And I'm like, that's insane. And I'm like, there's a lane here because I was already doing street interview content at the time. So I'm like, why not do it for brands? And that's kind of what inspired me to start doing it. And I have a podcast where I interview entrepreneurs. And one of the guys I interviewed, he's actually starting like a new fragrance line. So he's like, you can come and do some street interview content for my brand. I ended up doing it for his brand. And he was like my first client, like my first testimonial, led me on to other clients. And here I am, 7 months down the line, over 40 clients. Yeah, so that's me.
Wow.
Great, thank you. I would say initially, like when I was very first starting out, especially doing music in school, I would ask people like how to get started, but nobody was giving me any ideas of how to get started. I had to learn everything myself. I built up my audience myself. I went down to I just typed in, studios in the local area. I went down to a studio and I just built all of my connections from there. I used to go to networking events, a ton of them, and I'll just network. If there was a super big artist, I would go and make sure that I talk to that artist directly. I don't care if there's 20 security guards in front of him, the whole entourage. I'm there having a conversation. Hey, this is me. I'm an independent artist. This is my page. Check me out. They just love the energy. And a lot of the time what would happen is they will follow me. And then from there, other people would see, oh, this big artist is following you. Let me follow you. And you know what I mean? I just kind of grew my portfolio from there. So I would say it's just being a go-getter, like going out there and networking, putting yourself in those rooms. Like, don't be afraid to talk to people, right? And don't be afraid to take a risk neither, right? Like, go for what it is that you believe in and have ultimate belief in yourself as well, because nobody else is going to have as much belief in you than you do yourself. So like, that's what I would say. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but it's like 100% true, right? So I don't know if I answered the question, did I?
Yeah. Kind of breaking into the media world, but some of the challenges and pressures as well.
Yeah, so like, all right, so the first challenge was just about that, just finding like where to go and what to do. I would say another challenge is building a team, right? And like building the right team, right? The right people, right? Finding talent, like that's quite a hard thing to do. But thankfully for me, I just have a list of contractors. So I have like videographers and content creators and stuff. But I've been thankful because the areas that I do the street interviews, there's like loads of other content creators there. I'm not sure if you guys have been to like Carnaby Street, but that's where we do a lot of street interviews. There's like loads of content creators there. So lucky enough, there's like a whole Carnaby Street group of like 180 other content creators where I can kind of get some talent from, but we do also like find different talent online. But I would say just finding the right talent, like that's quite a difficult thing, because I had a videographer in the past. I was working with him on a project and I told him to only focus on shooting the street interviews that we done, right? but he wanted to do a whole bunch of B-roll as well. And then in the end, he came to me and he's like, hey, I've got like 30 hours worth of content. And I said, you would have only had 15 minutes worth of content if you only would have shot the street interviews that I asked you to shoot. So it's like, he's like, well, you know, I think if I was paid a little bit more, then it's just like, come on, like I would have given you less work for that money. It would have been well worth it for what I was paying you to do. But, you know, again, he wasn't listening to the brief. So that's what I'm saying about finding the right talent. And unfortunately, I had to part ways with him because it's like, you know, so yeah, that's like a real life example of where things can go wrong. Yeah, I would just say like with me, I have my own personal brand, which you guys can find online, which is like Ryan Lord Official. And actually that's where I get most of my inquiries from. Because if you have a look at like some of the biggest personal brands, say for example, you have Elon Musk and you have Tesla, right? Most people follow Elon Musk, they don't follow Tesla. You have Richard Branson and you have Virgin. Most people follow Richard Branson, they don't follow Virgin, right? People follow personal brands, they don't follow businesses, right? So that's why it's important to really, really focus on your personal brand, and then that would lead on to your business. So yeah. You also inspire me. You also inspire me. And I'm sure every single one of you here has a story that will also inspire me, right? So I always take inspiration from everybody that I speak to, right? Because you could always learn something from somebody, right? Same way when it comes to networking, I love to network with everybody. Like if I go to an event and let's say there's 100 people that's going to be at the event. On my phone, I need to talk to 100 people. And I'll go and talk to everybody, even if it's, 10 seconds. Just a quick introduction, find out what they do, say, hey, this is what I do, see if there's any synergy. If there is, amazing. If not, still cool, let's connect. Because you might know somebody that may need what I do, and I might know somebody that may need what you do, right? So that's why it's so important just to network, right? Because if it wasn't for the power of networking, I wouldn't be here today. Like, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met you guys. You guys, wouldn't have been here today. So yeah, networking is super important. And before I even talk about like what kind of keeps me going, I would also like to just kind of pick up on like the whole followers part, right? Don't buy fake followers, guys. Do not do that. It can completely damage your brand. I've never done it, but I've seen brands that have done it, and there's a point of no return, right? So no fake followers. Also, it's not about your followers at all. It's a shame that some companies look at followers and then they automatically judge you on it. My first brand deal, I had 56 followers. 56 followers, yes, on my first brand deal, right? So it's not about followers at all. It's all about your character and who you are, and about value. Everything in life is value, right? The same reason, this could be sold for, I don't know how much this is, but let's say £5 a bottle, and that bottle over there might be a different brand and it's £1. It might be exactly the same water, but it's the branding that makes it that thing, right? So you just got to look at yourself as you're a walking personal brand. And also, I just wanted to touch on the opportunity when you spoke about how people sometimes say, hey, yeah, come down and do this. It's opportunity based. Yes, sometimes you do get a lot of that and you have to be wary. But on the other token, sometimes opportunity is also worth more than money, right? Because I could go somewhere today, it could be completely free, but then I'm building a network. I'm networking with people, I'm building a portfolio, whatever else, right? So there's power in the two. It's just about looking at, what it's really worth, right? As you said, everything is about your worth. So you have to look at what that thing is really worth, but never ever be afraid to do free work, right? Like if you're starting out and you don't have a portfolio, contact some people. Hey, I do videography. Can I come down and do some videography for you for free? Yes, amazing. Hey, do you mind leaving a video testimonial for me on how you found me, how you found the work, what you're going to use it for, and the recommendation? You then now go to somebody else, and then now you can get paid for that because you have the proof of concept, you have a testimonial, and now you have a portfolio, right? And business doesn't have to be complicating, guys. Like it really, really doesn't have to be complicating. Like I have a very simple 3-step process whenever it comes to working with me. It's booking a discovery call. On that discovery call, I show you the portfolio, the testimonials, and then the pricing, which is a package list. Again, you don't want to overcomplicate it by having so many different packages or doing so many different things, right? You want to focus on one specific thing, okay? Like that's like your main core offering. And then you want to really niche down and focus on one niche. The reason I'm saying this is because I have a podcast with somebody called Corey Quinn. He scaled his agency in LA to 150 million. And he told me it's about focusing on a vertical approach, which is having a direct niche, finding your target audience and having one core offering. The second that I done that is the second that I started seeing some growth in my agency. When I said, I'm not trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, let me focus on one thing, which is a Vox Pop content, and let me focus on one audience, which is the e-commerce audience, right? So yeah, that's my process. Book a discovery call with me. I show you the portfolio and everything. Send you over the Stripe link. You pay via Stripe. We go out and shoot the content. We send it back to you in a Google Drive. It's that easy, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Business, it really doesn't. The same for like your personal brand or just content. Like just pick up your phone and start creating content, right? Don't overcomplicate. You don't need the best camera in the world. You don't need a whole media team. Yeah, like just start. You don't even need the best edits. It's all about what you're saying, right? Like that's the most important thing is a message. So yeah, that's what I would say. And that's the power of personal brand. As you said, Dan, as well, it's just about being yourself. You know, like nobody can be you like you, and every single one of you in this room has your own story to tell. You all have a story to tell that's unique, right? There's nobody that's been in your shoes, any of your shoes. Like all of you guys have your own personal story. Embrace it, right? Like really, really embrace that because that's what makes you you. I would just say like, it all depends on like why you do something. So it's really, really important to find your why. Like my why is up here with God. Like literally, like my life purpose is up there with God. It comes before me. It comes before anything else. It's literally up there with God. And if I'm not doing what I've been put on this earth to do, what am I really doing? Like, you know, I can't be myself if I'm not living my full potential and living my dream. I can't give back to my family. I can't give back to you guys. I can't do anything. Right? So that's why if you know your core purpose, and my true core purpose is just to inspire people, because to inspire somebody is the highest human act that one can do. So that's my core purpose, and everything that I'm doing now is for that moment and is to inspire every single one of you because that gives back to me, right? Like when you put out good things in the universe is going to reward you. Like it's cause and effects. You do something bad will happen. You do something good, something good will happen, right? So that's how I kind of stay motivated. And it's just about coming from like the background that I came from. I came from a single parent household. Funny enough, my mother's in the room over there. She supported me, my younger brother. She ran a household. She had a car, minimum wage, 12K a year. My father had schizoid personality disorder. So I've always had like relationship issues with him. So I've never really had a male father figure or positive figure in my life. A lot of my male role models came from music. It was the artists that I would take inspiration from and listen to their music, and they will give me just certain pieces of life advice. And that's what got me into music, because it was like my therapy. When I would listen to all of those different tunes and just the stories of these artists' lives and their music, that was my therapy. And when I would go in a studio and tell my story and put my lyrics together, you know, that was given back to the world through music, but it was also therapy to me. And for me, like that's it. Like, what was the core essence of problems in my life and in my childhood? Unfortunately, it came down to the lack of money, right? They say money is the root of all evil. I would say the lack of money is the root of all evil for me, because I've seen what it's done, right? Like to my family, my uphold, like, you know, like my upbringing. So for me, that's why I'm so motivated, is because I want to get to that point. Because there were some points where I didn't even go to school with lunch. I didn't have lunch to go to school, right? So for me, that's why it's so important for me to be successful, so my future family doesn't have to go through what I have to go through. Or I can just give back to other people. Like I do loads of youth talks to the youth. I work with youth organizations. I've done talks at Halifax Bank just to inspire people, just to be like, look, just because you came from here, it doesn't mean that you can't, you know, get to here, right? Like everyone has their own path, everybody has their own story, but don't let it define you. Like even if you come from the bottom, you might have no money in your bank account. It doesn't matter. Like money doesn't define you as a person. Like you define you. And that's what it's about. It's about bringing that true power and that true essence out of you as an individual. And that's what keeps me motivated every day. is doing that, so I could give back to what I never had when I was younger, and I could provide for my family and anyone else. Hey, there's an opportunity here, or I know this one here. There's an opportunity. Like, that's what it is for me. Thank you.
Go for it.
I would say just to keep going, right? Like, consistency beats talent, right? If you get 1% better every year, by the end of the year, you're 365% better, right? So consistency always beats talent, and as they say, practice makes perfect, right? So the more you do something, the better you become. If you're trying to build muscles, there's no other way to build muscles but to be in a gym, like, or to work out, to work on your muscles, right? There's no cheat code to that. It's the same thing for whatever you're trying to do. Like, there's no cheat code to doing that. You have to put in the reps, you have to put in the work, and that's what I would say. And I also wanted to touch on what you said before about how we like to kind of we like the like not knowing what's around the corner. Like, with what we do, it's true. Like, every day is different, but at the same time, I look at it like, if something's going too well in your life, be prepared for a drop, right? Always be prepared for a drop. Or if something, or right, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel too. So if you're in a dark place right now, 1,000,000%, like, I promise you, right? Like, I actually promise you, I'll pinky promise anyone right now, you would 100% get out of that spot, right? Because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And in a dark room, if you put light in a dark room, right, that's it. The darkness is gone. But you can't get rid of light with darkness. Does that make sense? So light will always beat the darkness. Positivity would always outbeat negativity. And that's just something I want to leave you with. I like that. Yeah, that's very true. Like, everything that Dan said is very true. For me, like, I'm not trying to be a presenter, so it's a little bit different. Like, I have my personal brand. I'm more like a entrepreneur that has St. Lord Media, which is my agency, and I'm doing the Vox Pop content, the street interview content, to further build my personal brand, to inspire more people, but also to help promote my agency. And I feel like, yeah, there's this term, influencers, right? But, like, what do you actually influence, right? Like, a lot of them don't actually influence anything, right? So, and again, you said a lot of brands have worked with influencers and they've been burnt because these influencers buy fake followers and things like that. So a brand might pay an influencer X amount, they get no traction because most of those followers are fake, right? So that's why it's important just to do everything, as you said again, authentically. It's all about authenticity. So for me, linking back to, like, the main question, not really. I find that people want to work with me because of my character and the way that they see people interact with me on camera and the way that I interview people. That's why people want to work with me over somebody else that has hundreds of thousands of followers, for example. And even with my agency, I want to give it to smaller content creators, like the ones that I mentioned on Carnaby Street, that might only have a couple hundred followers, but they're out there every single day trying to build their personal brand. I would prefer to give them an opportunity than the guy that, has already been established and has the millions or hundreds of thousands of followers, because it doesn't make that person any better than the next. And it kind of links back to another thing as well, like a title. Like, what is a title, right? It's like anyone can go on Company's House and register as a director and all of a sudden they're a CEO, right? It's like, like, don't pedestalize people, like, don't pedestalize celebrities, don't even pedestalize things. Like, if you really, really want a nice car, if you like a Rolls Royce, for example, that's my favorite car, the Rolls Royce Cullinan, white Rolls Royce Cullinan. But every time I see one go by, I don't sit there and drawl and be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like, I look at it like, that's a cool car. I'm gonna get that car one day. That's the kind of mentality that you need to have rather than pedestalizing it, right? And, even when I used to network with all these big celebrities and these artists, like, I'll go up to them like they're a normal person and I'll talk to them like they're a normal person. And that's what they like. That's what they resonated with, because they're so used to people fanboying them or fangirling them that when you just come up to them and you just talk to them like they're a normal person, they're like, I respect it, So yeah, just linking back to that, like, everybody's human, everybody's out here just trying to make a living for themselves. And yeah, don't pedestalize everybody, like anybody, put yourself on your own pedestal and pedestalize the man upstairs, pedestalize God, because no one else is gonna have you like God's gonna have you. So yeah.
Nice. So true.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I think as well, like it kind of links back to like, you know, the term selling your soul, right? It's like it's kind of like selling your soul in a way. It's like, if you do this, you can get here. It's a little bit sketchy, you know? You never want to do anything in life that you're going to regret or is out of character, like just for a bit of fame and attention. You know, like what is fame at the end of the day? How many people do we know that was famous and they completely fell off with time? And it's like now they're unknown and they're just probably working in a bar somewhere on the low because, you know, they once had all this fame, but it's like fame can be taken away from you like that, you know, and you're only as relevant as people make you. Whereas if you build something solid and you actually have something, you know, like an agency, or if you're a presenter for many different brands, you're providing value and you're providing a service. It's more than just fame, right? So yeah.
I think there's definitely the as well.
Yeah, and thank you. And they say that you're only like a few people away from somebody super big anyway, you know, so that's why it's even more important to, you know, grow your network and stuff. But linking back to what your question was, I would say just share your content amongst family and friends. When I very first started music, I recorded my first song in school, in the school studio. We shared it around school. It had like, 1,000 views on YouTube at the time in 2014, 15, kind of showing my age. But yeah, I shared it in school and then everyone was like, yeah, you should take music serious because like, you're actually very good. You should take it serious. So that's what made me like want to, you know, take it serious. And I did, but it's just about sharing it around to your family and your friends first, like getting an opinion on what they think, but having an ultimate belief in yourself too. Like you have to know that your content is good and what you're putting out is good first. But even if you don't, share it to family and friends and just be like, be honest, like not because you're my mom or my sister or my brother, like just tell me what you think about this. How can I improve? And then you'll get better and better like that, right? And don't be afraid of creative criticism. Sometimes if people tell you something, like don't take everything so personal. You know, like everything's not personal. Like sometimes people are genuinely just trying to help you. So take that creative criticism and implement it. But also be careful who it's coming from. Do be careful where it's coming from. If it's not coming from somebody that's done it before, like usually I let it go through one ear out the other because it's like you haven't done what you're telling me to do. So is it coming from a place of jealousy or hate? I don't know. But if somebody's generally got there before and I want to get to that position, I'm going to listen to what they're saying because they've done it, right? So they're walking it and talking it. So yeah, that's what I would say. And just thinking back to like the whole thing, it's right, the whole fame thing and the whole Love Island thing. It's like I've had my, you know, like my little taste of fame when I was in the industry. Like I've been in certain areas and they're like, oh, you're so and so, and I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. And yeah, like I got that kind of feeling, and I don't know if I really like that. I don't think I'll like that on like a major scale. I still sometimes like going to Nando's and no one knows me. I don't want to go there and I'm eating half a chicken and it's like the whole restaurant knows me. You know, like I kind of like having my own. I like having just like a peaceful, quiet life. But you have to really understand like what you like. But it's also people know me in real life. It's like just the community knows me, like the shopkeeper knows me, because every time I'm going around, I'm saying hi to people. Sometimes a postman might hoot me in a car and say hi to me. This one, you know, you can ask my family when I'm out and about. Everyone's saying hi to me because I show love to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, I'm gonna show you love. I'm gonna say, hey, how's your day? Or like, hey, or whatever. Just acknowledging that people exist. And I think that that's more powerful than, you know, just a whole bunch of people knowing you for the sake of a whole bunch of people knowing you. It's just about how you make people feel, because that's what people are going to remember you for. When it's your time, they're not going to remember you for the mansion that you had or how many cars you had. They're going to remember you for how you impacted their life, how you made their life better. So just work on that, you know, just work on becoming the best version of yourself and making other people feel good, because that's how people are going to remember you. Thank you. Yeah, I would just say because it's funny because like my mother was telling me a story today about her partner's kids. They went to like a restaurant and like a woman was like super rude to them, like when they asked to sit down. And I'm just like, maybe that woman was just having a bad day, right? Like we need to stop taking everything so personal. You know, like some people in life, they don't know how to express themselves, or they don't have enough emotional intelligence, right? So for me, it's like even doing vox pops, like when I have to stop people, I get rejections, of course. Sometimes people completely blank me. Sometimes people just look at me like, why are you stopping me type thing. But I'm just like, have a good day, sir. Or have a good day, miss. That's it. You know, like I don't let it affect me. You don't know who I am. You don't know the opportunity that I could be giving you. Like this could be, you know, a life-changing opportunity. Like, you know, like you don't know that. But, you know, to walk around thinking that you're too good for something, it kind of shows me the type of person that you are. You could have just easily said to me, oh, like, sorry, like, not today. You know, just be nice about it. Like, there's no need to be rude. But at the same time, you can't fight fire with fire, right? So that's how I look at it. And it kind of links back to the whole, if you put light in a room, it will take the darkness away, but the darkness can never take away the light. So you fight negativity with positivity all the time. You don't fight fire with fire, right? And you always come up on top. And that's what real strength is as well, by the way. Like, real strength is that. It's not clapping back. It's not any of that. Real strength is emotional intelligence, and it's just about being a bigger person. And like, that's what I would say. So I don't really let a lot of things get to me for that reason, because that's where the real power is, right? So yeah.
Thank you so